Hey guys, welcome back to No Catchy Name. It's me, Ella. Today I wanted to hop on here and try to show you how I do my embroidered eyes. Disclaimer, I'm not an expert at this. I have learned it just from watching other people's videos over the years and blog posts and all that kind of things to see how other people do it. So I just wanted to hop on here and do this because I had multiple people in my comments asking me how I do it. So I'm going to show you how I do it on finished amigurumis. This is a duck that I made. The pattern is Free Pattern by Rose and Lily Crochet. I will leave it linked below if you would like to check it out. And I'm also sorry if my table shakes a little. I don't have like a nice setup for filming tutorials, which is why I don't do that typically. The things you will need is your finished amigurumi. And then in a similar weight yarn that your amigurumi is, you need your eye colors. I usually use black and white. Depending, like if you're doing a Grinch or something, you would want some yellow. You could use also other color eyes. You need a yarn needle. And I do use a crochet hook to help me hide my ends. And you also need some scissors, which mine are all the way over here. Here they are. Anyways, okay, so first start with the black. Put it on my needle. Okay, so when you first go into the head, when I first go into the head, I go away from where I want the eye so that I can deal with that tail. So I usually try to go down to the bottom or up at the top somewhere just to keep the tail away from where I want the eye, which in this case is on either side of this duck's bill. So I'm going to go about maybe, I don't know. I'm not an expert at it again. And some of this fuzz and stuff will come out. You can deal with that later. It's not a big deal. I don't try to do any cleaning until I'm done. And also some of these yarns tend to shed, you know, at the end. So just go with make your eye, clean it up afterwards. So I do try to leave a little tail down there for me to deal with later. Right there. Alright. So there is some eyes out there that people make. They usually go through just a few times, and then they do like this little eyebrow thing down like this. And I don't typically do that because I feel like it makes all the amigurumis look sad or sometimes grumpy. So I go up a few stitches and I go through to make like a line. And then in order to build the shape of the eye that I want, which in this case it's going to be kind of like a oval for this duck, I will keep going in and out the same spots, but each time I will lay the yarn and guide it with my finger to where I want it to build up. The more you build it up, the more round the eye gets, which I also like sometimes. But see how the yarn is open right here, I just kind of want to use my finger to put it where I want it to lay. And now I put it on this side, so now I'm going to do the same thing on this opposite side. This is just shaping like the main part of the eye. So I'm gonna pull that through. You want to pull it through, you know, kind of taut, but not too tight. If you pull it too tight, it'll get sucked into the yarn and be a little line. But you can, if you accidentally pull it too tight, you can use your needle to loosen it up. And then, like, you know, if you want, you just build the eye shape the way you want it. I want this duck's eyes to be oval, but I want them to be big and cute. So I do kind of pass through a bunch of times. And again, I'll deal with the fuzzes later. Not worry about the fuzz. Just keep building it up until it's the shape that you want. Throw that fuzz out of the way. Okay, let's go. I think that's a good eye shape. So for my black tail, I'm going to go back in this bottom part down here and come back over here where this piece is sticking out. So that both of my ends are coming out the same hole. Make sure they're both coming out the same hole because you're going to knot them. It's stuck on his foot. Okay, I never knot and tie in until I'm completely done in case I want to change something. So we're just going to take all this extra and just throw it over there. Okay, so there's his black of his eye. Now we're going to do white. So I'm going to attach my white yarn to my needle. If you hear any noises, I live in an apartment, so there's kids and air conditioners and all that stuff. Again, I'm going to find just a stitch, and I'm going to come out at the bottom of the eye. Right there. Pull it through to where you have just a small tail. Oops, that's too small. A little bit bigger, right there. Alright, now this is just like the white of the eye to give it just some cuteness. See, that already made the eye look so much cuter, just from black to cute cartoony eye. So you just guide it around the side and stick it in at the top in the same place where you stuck all the black, and come back out at the bottom like that. Again, guide it with your finger if you need to. Move that out of the way. There's another little fuzz that came off. Just throw that away. Pull it kind of snug, and then do that again. Do it as many times as you want to build up the thickness of the white to your, liking, your desire. Boop. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So now you can also add the little, I don't know what it's called, the little glint. Sometimes I add it just down at the bottom. You would go kind of in right here. Sometimes you have to kind of wiggle the needle to get through the layers. Get in there. Okay. And then in this case, this would be the last piece I would do for him. So I would try to aim my needle to go back out this same hole right here. The beauty of hand stitching your own eyes is you can change them. If you don't like the way something looks, you just pull it out and do it again. That's something I have learned. Now this part you don't want to pull too tight, because it will get sucked in there and disappear. And if you accidentally pull it too tight, just stick your needle behind it and loosen it up. Look at that eye. Is that not a cute eye? You could go back if you wanted to and stitch eyelashes, or that little downward shaped eyelash thing that a lot of people do. I just don't like that personally, because I think it looks grumpy. It makes a lot of the animals look grumpy. But I mean, you can do it however you want. You can, I would suggest using these same tails down here. So now let's just say this is how we want our eye, which is this is how I want my eye. You could also add this little part up to the top. Some people do that, or kind of off to the side. It's just personal preference. One thing that I did when I was learning how to do this is I would look up anime eyes, I think it was, and I would type in just on Google embroidered doll eyes, and I would just kind of scroll through and look and see which eyes I liked. And when I found some I liked, I just tried to recreate that with the yarn. It is a skill just like anything. You may not be good at it the first few times you try it, but if you keep practicing, it's going to just look better and better. So don't give up if you try and it looks weird. My first ones looked weird, and every now and then one will pop out and still be weird. But anyways, let's just say this is done. This is where we want it. So then we're going to deal with these ends. So where'd my scissors go? Okay. So I just trim off my ends, and I'll save these bits to use for more eyes, for more things. Okay, so you got the two sets of tails. What I do is I just kind of double knot them. These ones are a little small. Sometimes I leave them a little bit longer. Double knot them, but don't pull them crazy tight, because the tighter you pull these ends, the more this stuff up here will shift. And see all these fuzzes? We'll deal with that later. And then I'll tie the black ones. And then I go with my crochet hook. I usually use a bigger one, but I couldn't find one. This one might take me a few times to do it. I go, see the knots are here. It's coming from here, up in here. So I want to go the opposite direction of where these ends are. You don't want to pull them out up here, because then it will be pulling it back this way, which will make these loose. So I want to go the opposite way where my eye is. In this case, it's the back of the duck's head. So I will stick my hook in. I try to stay closer to the yarn than in the stuffing, just so I don't pull a lot of stuffing out when I pull it. I go up to where the knot is. Whoops, wrong one. Right here. Sometimes you have to finesse it. And then I lay my tails to where they'll get caught in my hook. And then I will pull it through the hole. And as I'm pulling it through, I will kind of rotate my hook. And sometimes I do it like this. And then by the time your hook comes back out, that's stuffing right there. Your tails are in there. And I use the butt of my hook, is that what this is called? To stuff that stuffing back in there. Ta-da! Okay. I'm going to do it again with the black. So I'm going to go in right here. Try to find right there. I lay the tails over the hook. And as I pull it through, I'm kind of wiggling the hook. And I'm rotating it so that the yarn comes off of my hook and gets stuck in the head. And then I use the end of my hook, the butt, whatever, to push that little bit of stuff back in there. Alright, so there's his eye. He has one eye. He does have fuzz from the yarn ends and a little bit of fibers from the fiber fill. I usually just hand pick that kind of stuff off. Or I've also seen people use a lint roller and just roll it over, which is a really good idea. I'm going to use that in the future. So, just, you know, shaping them up. And then we move over and do the exact same thing on this opposite side. So, and sometimes it's a little hard to get the eyes to look exactly the same. But that just comes with doing it. You know, you just practice and practice. Practice makes progress. And eventually, I promise, if you keep doing it, you'll get better at it. So I'm going to do his other eye real quick. And I'm not going to talk. I'll probably throw some cute music over it so that you can see me doing it. And I'll do it kind of slow so that, you know, you can just visually see it done for the visual learners. Okay, there's my duck. Now, I will say this eye is a little bigger than that one, fuller-wise, but that's okay. I still think he's adorable. And let me tilt this up. Oop, there he is. Look at him. He's so cute. And you can finesse with it, you know. It's just something that you do, and if you don't like it, you can always cut them off and start again. I've done that so many times, it's not even funny. I'm happy with his eyes. Like I said, you could add those little lines, which is where you would just take the black yarn that's down here. I would probably put it over or under one more time, and then put it down here, maybe once or twice, depending on how thick you wanted it. And then you would just do the ends the same way. Or you could, if it was a girl duck, you could put little eyelashes. Yeah, you just practice with it and try to come up with ideas that, you know, you like. I've seen a lot of really nice ones. People add different colors and stuff, so I think I might try to start practicing with adding colors into the eye, I guess irises. But I think this duck is adorable. I think he's ready to go into my inventory bag and go home to a new home soon, hopefully. But anyways, I hope you liked this tutorial. If it did help you, I'm glad. If it didn't, give me some constructive criticism in a nice way, you know, don't be mean. And I will try. Again, I'm sorry if it was shaky or anything like that. I don't have the proper setup for tutorials, but I am trying. So I hope that helped anybody. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. And I'll see you guys in another video. Bye, guys.